How to make money with AI as a beginner without feeling overwhelmed or needing to figure everything out first. Hey there, my name is Kristin Nicole, and if you've been watching my videos on how to make money with AI so far, then you've probably noticed that there are a lot of different ways to make money with AI. And while that's a good thing, it can also start to feel like, where do I even begin? So in this video, I want to simplify everything, not by giving you more options, but by gently narrowing it down to 3 of the easiest, most beginner-friendly paths that I've seen. Now, these are paths that don't require coding, they don't require any experience, and they don't require you to build something complicated. By the end of this video, you'll be able to feel into which one might best fit you and start at your own pace. And in a few minutes, I'm actually going to share how to choose the best one so that you can start right without overthinking your next step. And it's going to be based off of what is best for you. So let's go ahead and get into it. I want to first define what easy actually means before we get into the 3 paths, because I think this is really important to understand. I want to be clear that just because these are the 3 easiest fits for beginners doesn't mean that they are easy, okay? Nothing about starting a business is easy. Starting a business is hard because it challenges you in ways that you would have never thought possible or even thought that it would have challenged you. But there are ways to remove barriers and simplify the starting point so that you are more likely to keep going even when the novelty and the motivation wear off. And so my goal in this video is to give you a realistic expectation and start you off on the right foot. So easy in this context does not mean that it's instant, okay? It does not mean that it's effortless, and it does not mean that there is no learning at all. Easy rather means that it is simple to understand, it is a low barrier to start, and something that you can grow into over time. These are not shortcuts, okay? They are just softer entry points. So with that, I want to talk about the 3 options for beginners to get started. And that first one is becoming an AI content creator. Now, this one is the most accessible. It is kind of the simplest one in the sense that you create content and you use AI to help you to do it. Now, maybe you already create content. And so this would be a very natural next step for you, is integrating AI into that workflow, okay? You don't need to be an expert. You are sharing what you are learning, you are sharing what you are trying, and you are sharing what you're discovering along the way. Or you can also use AI to help you map out what you want to teach, what you want to talk about, and what you want to share with an audience. So this could look like talking about AI tools that you're using, simplifying things for other beginners, or documenting your own journey and using AI to help you brainstorm ideas so that you never run out of content. And why this is one of the great paths for beginners is because you don't need experience. You don't need to sell right away, and you can start simply by sharing. Over time, this can turn into income through using things like affiliate links, making simple recommendations, or creating resources or sharing resources that you genuinely use. So that makes this a very low pressure to no pressure situation, and which that may be something that is perfect for you because you just start by sharing. But you need to recognize that this path in and of itself does not generate income just by simply sharing and creating content. It could, but you have to be sharing things that are going to allow you to get paid. That's why you need to couple it with something like affiliate marketing or creating digital products, something like that. This path lets you build an audience, which is at least half the battle when it comes to generating an income, because it takes care of the marketing that you would need to do. Basically, your marketing is done for you because you're already doing it and you're already building that trust and authority with your audience. And once you have that audience built, then you can start selling to them. So in this case, you are using AI to help you create that content in the sense of it being a thought partner with you and helping you build some strategy around it. You may not be used to building a strategy in order to monetize, and AI can help you kind of map this out as to what it would look like. Option number 2 is creating AI digital products. This second path is simply creating digital products using AI. This means that you use AI to help you create something once that someone else can download or use. Some examples of this would be things like guides, checklists, templates, or simple resources. And this is a very beginner-friendly way because AI can help you organize and create faster, and you don't need advanced skills to do this, and you don't need to be an expert. You just need to be helpful. One thing to keep in mind, though, is you are not trying to create something perfect. You are creating something useful. And once it's created, it can be sold multiple times, which makes it more sustainable over time. But then you still need to figure out the marketing aspect. You need to understand things like how will you reach an audience? What platform will you use to sell it? How will you figure out demand of what will actually sell? AI can also help you with these aspects in doing market research. You can ask an AI tool like Claude or ChatGPT. You can ask whichever one you choose what people want and are willing to pay for. But the catch is that these models, Claude and ChatGPT, they may be relying on old data from a year or two ago, which doesn't account for market shifts. So that's something to keep in mind when you are doing that research. There are ways around this through things such as looking through Google and knowing how to search to see what people are searching for now. And you can likely find a YouTube video on that. If it's of interest, drop a comment and let me know, and I can create a video on that as well. But that's just something to keep in mind, that when you are using the Claudes and the Geminis and the ChatGPTs of the world, that data that they're looking at may be a year or two old, and that is going to affect market demand and affect, the research that you're doing. Path number 3 would be creating AI chatbots and then reselling them, or creating them from scratch after you've partnered with a small business. And this is one that's growing really quickly right now, using AI chatbots. Now, chatbots are nothing new, but the way that they are being created now is new, and combining it with something called hybrid AI, where you're taking the best of both human intelligence and artificial intelligence to create these really awesome chatbots for businesses. This might sound a little more technical at first, but it really doesn't have to be. It does not mean that you are coding or building anything complicated. It simply means using tools that already exist to help automate conversations in a simple way. Now, just to give you a little bit of context, you want to think of AI chatbots like this. Instead of replying to every message manually, a chatbot can help guide someone through answers, next steps, and helpful resources. So this could look like answering common questions, guiding someone to the right link, or helping someone take a simple next step. This may sound complicated, but it's actually not so bad, because there are tools built out there where you don't need any technical knowledge or technical skills in order to do that. You can start very simply. You just need to understand conversation flows, and that's really what it comes down to. And then you create that chatbot to help answer some common questions or deliver a guide or things of that nature. Now, if you want to learn more about this right away, there is a link below this video for a more in-depth training on how to do this that is totally free. I don't know how long it'll be available, so I would just go in and, since it is free, get signed up and check out that training, because it's a really awesome training that talks very in-depth around AI chatbots and selling them to businesses. And this is one that small businesses really need right now. So it's much faster to monetize than the other two, because you're still going to have to be figuring out, like when it comes to AI content creation, that's going to be slower to build. When you're looking at building digital products, you have to do a lot of market research. That's slower to build. If you build AI chatbots for another business, well, then you can jump into that. What you do is you learn the system to do that, And then you can start monetizing that right away. That's essentially going to be able to bring in income more quickly, right? There's still going to be a little bit of learning involved. Any of these are going to have learning. I don't want you to think that you just walk right into it. But when it comes to the AI chatbot reseller business model, that one is going to be a little less of a learning curve or a little less of time to monetize because of the fact that you basically are learning how to put those together, and then you're able to sell it right away to businesses that need it. So let's talk about how to choose without overthinking, okay? I don't want you to overthink this part. You don't need to choose the perfect path. You just need to choose a starting path. So I'm going to invite you to choose based on what feels the least overwhelming to you, what feels the most interesting to you, and what feels the most doable for you right now. You can always change later. Nothing is permanent here, but getting started with one is going to help you find clarity in terms of what's most interesting and easiest for you, okay? So don't overthink this, just get started, and then you're gonna start to figure out if it's the right path for you, if you wanna pivot, and that's totally okay if you decide to pivot, okay? I also wanna make sure that I set the right expectations for you, okay? I just wanna gently remind you of something that's really important. All three of these paths are simple, but they are not instant, and they take time to build, right? They still require you to show up. They still require you to try new things, and they require you to learn as you go. But this isn't about getting it perfect. It's about staying in motion in a way that feels calm and sustainable, okay? And that's what business is. You pick a path to go down, you learn, you adjust. That is very normal. That is just the way that it goes. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think that you start and you immediately start making money, and that's just frankly unrealistic. I don't know of anybody who did that. Maybe there are some people out there, but if they did that, that's because they had already built up something and had some sort of understanding. If you are starting out from scratch and from the very beginning, there are a lot of things to learn to get started. I say that not to scare you. I just want to, again, set some realistic expectations. So a few questions just to sit with, all right? Which of these three feels the least overwhelming? Which would feel the most interesting or natural to you? And what would feel safe to try first, even in a small way? And then lastly, are you willing to start before you fully feel ready? Now, if you are starting to feel a little bit more clarity, that's exactly what we want here. If you don't feel clear yet, that is okay. I have created several other videos on this topic. You can go back and watch those, and hopefully that'll help you to get a little more clear as well. But just remember, you don't need to figure everything out. You just need a place to begin, okay? And that's the important thing to know. You just got to get started with something. Now, in the next video, we're going to explore more deeply how to make money with AI through content creation. So I'm going to build upon this video some with that first model and help you continue expanding your perspective without feeling overwhelmed. If you are interested rather in going the chatbot route, I highly encourage you to check out that deep dive training that is below this video. And with that, that wraps up this one, and I will see you in the next video.